Hello there everyone. So this is going to be part one of my journey of me making my first crochet wearable, and it's going to be a top. Specifically, it's this tutorial that I'm using to make the top with. Now I am modifying it as well, and I've kind of decided on that along the way, so I thought I would take you along for the journey. Now first of all, I really like the stitch that she uses for this top. That was one of the things that really caught my attention. And really all I'm changing is, of course I'm making it to fit me, so my size, but also along the way I've kind of decided on changing the shape of it a little bit. But of course I'll let you know all that stuff as we go. Now if you know anything about me, you also know that I have to make it purple, so I'm using the Friends Cotton 8/6 in purple. So this is what I'm using, and I have a few of these packs where there's 10 of these skeins in one pack. But anyway, this top is worked from the bottom up, so I guess we can just get one out and get going. And what I really like about these as well is they have this easy start little tab, so you literally, oh, that was the wrong way, that way there, so you can start from the middle, literally nice and easy like that. I really like that about these. And this is, now I can show you the color better, so this is a really lovely color. I think it's a bit on the dark side of a purple, but at the same time it's easy to tell that it's purple, so not super dark, so I really like that. Now it starts with making a chain, and then you get straight into basically making the stitch. So I'll stop along the way when I feel like there's something to update about, and I have no idea how long this is going to take because I've got multiple projects going at once, so I kind of work on it on and off. And also obviously there's quite a bit of crocheting to it, especially because I'm making a bigger size, so obviously that takes longer in itself. But anyway, I'm just going to get on with making a bunch of chains first of all, to basically reach around my widest part so I can put it on, I guess, and then get straight into making the stitch that she shows in that tutorial, because it is really lovely. And I've already got ideas to use that stitch specifically for other designs, so I really like that. So I'm very excited to see how this is going to turn out, so stay tuned if you want to see as well. Hello, so this is update 2 of me making my first wearable, which is a top, and I have my project in this cute little bag. I don't know if I'm going to keep being able to have it in there because it already takes up quite a bit of space, because I think I'm getting to the point where I just need to kind of start trying it on so I don't end up making too much and have to undo something. So like I mentioned in the previous one, you start from the bottom and work up. Let me just see what's top and bottom. I think that way. And I'm also aiming at making it longer than what she did in the video because I prefer my tops that way. So I want to see where I'm at. So first of all, I did originally make basically this section and spent some months on it because working on it on and off. Ended up having to undo it because I used the measurement from my waist, which is kind of the narrowest part right under the boobs, and I didn't account for the fact that I wanted to go over the hips, so basically it was a bit too tight. So I undid the whole thing, basically this much that I'd made. I undid everything, restart it, and then got to this point again, and obviously made sure to use my hip measurement, so it should be all right now. So the aim is, like I said, I want this to be a bit longer, and I think around there's a pretty good length, and the aim is to basically reach just under my boob, which I'm actually really close to, if not almost there. I think just maybe a couple more rows, because I'm changing the design of the top a little bit from the tutorial. So instead of it just being all the way up, straight up and down, I want to cut it just under the boobs there, the narrowest point, and then actually make a band of some sort, just using ribbing I think, to go around under the boobs there, and then continue upwards. So basically break it up and just give it a bit more shape than just having it straight up and down. So that's my plan. That also is something I thought of along the way. Hello my boy. I didn't start out like that. It wasn't actually till I think after I did this first whole section I started thinking I want to change it a little bit and add that shaping to the body of it itself. So I am actually almost there, I think, on the height. I think that's quite a nice length, that, from what I'm imagining. How many rows is that? 3? About 3 more rows maybe, and then I guess I'll check back in at that point. update number 3 for making my first wearable, which is a top, and I have reached what I think is a good length for the bottom part here before I then make and add the waistband. It's going to sit under the boobs, so obviously it's going to add a bit of length, so I'm thinking that the top is going to be about there, and then obviously the waistband somewhere there. I am also planning to add a border or edging along the bottom part. Haven't quite figured out what yet, but I don't really think I want to do ribbing because it's not supposed to singe in at the bottom. It is supposed to in the original tutorial, but I don't want it to. I just want it to kind of hang free. I would have kind of loved it to be a bit more flowy, but I also didn't want to make it too wide. This will be nice. Obviously at the top here by the waist is going to get singed in, so hopefully we'll have a bit of shape kind of outwards and a little flowy hopefully at the bottom. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this length. Now I have also actually gone over the top here all the way around and added a single crochet row, which I'm actually pretty happy with. Let me show you the front instead. There we go. So it'll be easier, I'm thinking, to attach the ribbing and this together instead of going into the actual stitch where you have open gaps and spaces. So that's the point I'm at. The next thing is to make the ribbing. That's going to then obviously go around the waist under the boobs there. So I haven't finished anything off yet, just because when I did this the first time and then ended up undoing the whole thing and redoing it, I was glad that I didn't finish anything off, but obviously I do want to do that at some point. But anyway, that's the point that I'm at. So I've been debating regarding the ribbing as well, back and forth whether to do single crochet ribbing or slip stitch ribbing. I've been playing around with the ribbing a bit, so let me show you that. So first I made single crochet ribbing, which I do like. Then I made the slip stitch ribbing, and I think I prefer this. It's a little bit tighter and neater, I think. So that is my issue with ribbing in general. Sometimes I think it can look a little bit messy, and I'm not really crazy about that look, so I tried to make it a bit tighter and neater. And also I found that part of it really wants to twist a lot when you kind of just did it normally. So up here is where I then tried to kind of work out a little bit of a way to make it lay flat basically, and I feel like I ended up figuring it out. So this part up here is nice and flat. Obviously ultimately I don't really think it's going to matter, because once you attach everything together it's going to just work itself out, I think, plus possibly blocking it. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of get it as nice in the first place as possible. So that is the place that I'm at. I basically need to make this whole length of ribbing, however much I need to go around the waist, and then take it from there. Hello guys, so this is part 4, I think, of me making my first crochet wearable, and this is mostly going to be a ribbing update. So I have the length ready here. Let me just try and put it on-ish. So the point is to obviously make the waistband of the ribbing. So as I'm wearing it, I don't want it to be kind of stretched. I just want it to be comfortably sitting there. But the point of the stretching is so I can get it on and off basically. So if I just find the two ends, and that's not really stretched, but they meet up quite nicely. So I think that's pretty good length. And also put a bunch of stitch markers in it along the way, because I kind of thought, I'm not counting the rows as I go, but I thought maybe it would be handy. I think the way I'm going to do it with attaching pieces together is, say the bottom piece and the ribbing, I'm going to work out how many rows I have in each piece and then kind of work it out mathematically before I start attaching it together. So I figured it would be helpful to know how many rows I got here, but instead of having to go back through and count it all, I just attach stitch markers on every 10th row, so I can kind of do it a little bit more easily, thinking ahead and making it hopefully easier for myself. So that's why there's so many stitch markers in there, just to help count when it gets to that point. So yeah, oh, it's almost unraveling. So I also just left a bunch at the beginning here, just to basically, I'm thinking to use this to help sew some pieces together. I could always not use it, but I'd rather have it there to have less ends to weave in as well. So this is basically the ribbing ready. I just need to fasten it together, I'd say, and basically try and put it on and off with it fastened together to see if it's going to work, of course. So just put the two ends together with slip stitches or single crochet, I'm not sure, one or the other, and then try it on and see if it works out. And then I have also started the upper part, which I've just started in exactly the same way as I did the bottom part, just basically smaller. So I've just taken the widest part of my chest area and started working in the same way. And this is then just going to have the height from below my boobs, where the ribbing obviously is going to go. Yeah, baby. And then up to the point where you then want to start your sleeves, basically. So you make the sleeves separately and then attach them in. So I just need to, this isn't going to be super tall, I think to about midpoint of the breast there. I'm going to make this, and then I need to make the sleeves, which I guess will be the next update. So update number, I think 5, for my first crochet wearable. So it's a top, and this is going to really be a sleeve update, you could say. So I have finished both sleeves, kind of. Putting them on, I've just done it so they pretty much go right up to the armpit and they feel comfortable. I like the feel and the size of them, and I'm pretty happy with the length. Now I will be adding some either edging or ribbing, something to it, so we'll add a bit of length of course. But what I'm worried about is that I say just keep making the top, and then when I'm finished and then say go to wash it, which will basically be blocking it, won't it? That maybe that will change the top a bit. So my concern is that, say I finish the whole thing, finish everything off and wear it and go to wash it, maybe the sleeves will end up getting too long. So my thought is to basically block the sleeves first before I finish anything off here, now that I've gotten to this point where they're both, you can see, done enough to the point where I'm going to try and just block these on their own before I then carry on with the next step, which would be I would say, to start attaching some things together. So basically the next step for me, I'm thinking, is best to block the sleeves separately and see if anything changes, because then I still got everything attached, I've not finished anything off. If they do end up getting too long to what I feel like would be comfortable, instead of ending up just having a finished top that I made and like but end up not wearing because something stupid as the sleeves are too long, then I can still fix it before I finish it off. Oh yeah, I forgot, it's because I'm like, why are they attached to each other? It's because I started using the other end from the same ball that I was using for the other sleeve, because I didn't want to open a whole new sleeve because I knew I didn't need that very much more. I literally had like that much left of my final row. I was like, I'm not going to open a whole new ball, so I just took the other end of the same ball that I was already using, and they're attached, and I forgot. Right, so it's a little tricky because obviously the sleeves are not attached yet, so they're just wanting to fall down. I'm just going to try and have them sit where they would sit if they were attached, just so I can get a bit of an impact of before and after, I guess. So obviously this is kind of falling down a bit, but then this is falling down, and then that's falling down. Oh my goodness. Right, anyway, the point is, I do really like this length that they are now. So the question is if blocking them would make them longer. I personally also quite like my sleeves to just be a little bit longer rather than too short. I just kind of like the feeling of having something to grip, hold, whatever. And I'm dropping the yarn. So yeah, that's the point we're at. Basically try and block the sleeves and see what happens. And I guess that'll be the next update, to see like before and after, and see if anything has happened. Maybe nothing has happened and all this is for nothing. It's a waste of time, but I'd rather try that now so I don't regret not doing it after. Hello there, so today is update number 6, I'm pretty sure, of making my first crochet wearable. And guys, we are getting somewhere. So last time I updated regarding the sleeves, I'm pretty sure, about basically blocking them before going any further. So I've done that, and it turns out, in my opinion, nothing happened. So yeah, I was gonna say that was a waste of time doing that, but at the same time, then at least I know. I have also gone through and finished off all the ends so far. That did take a while. I spent about 2 days or so on doing that. Plus, even though these balls are so small, a fair few of them actually have got factory knots, and I don't trust factory knots, so I undo them and make my own connection basically. So all those ends as well. But anyway, I guess we start with trying on the sleeves, and I'll try and do it before and after the whole blocking thing, like I said in the last one. I put them all the way up to basically the armpit, I basically feel like this is what they looked like before, so I guess this is the after. So in my opinion, nothing has really happened, which is fine. Honestly, if anything, I prefer that nothing happens with it, because then you know as you're making something, once you've made it, it's not going to change once you've washed it, I guess. But anyway, so we are basically done with the sleeves at this point. So the next step would be to take these sleeves and attach them to, I think it's this one. That is the upper part that will start from under the boobs and then carry further up here. But before I continue with that, I want to attach the sleeves obviously on the sides because that's where the arms are, and then crochet them into it and then continue going further up to the shoulders basically, and up to what's going to end up being the head hole collar. So that's kind of the next step. Let me try and, I think this is too much to hold, but I wanted to try and put it all on, but obviously everything is loose. So this is the ribbing. So this sits under the boobs, and then this is going to attach the lower part of the ribbing, and then obviously there's this is going to attach the upper part of the ribbing. I don't think this is going to work out. And then to the upper part here, I'm going to then attach a sleeve on each side and then basically finish it off. So I more or less have almost everything done, and I just need to attach it together basically. And then obviously once I've done that, carry on and basically get to the point where I want the neckline to be. Originally I wanted to make it quite a bit smaller because I've never been much for like showing too much of this area, but I gained more confidence more recently and I'm like, why shouldn't I? So I maybe want to get it a little bit further out towards the shoulders than I originally was planning. So that's basically where we're at. I am seeing an ending to this. I'm seeing a final top come together here. I just really want to try it on properly, fully attached together instead of in pieces. But yeah, I'm excited because I think it's not going to be that far off. So update number 7 for my first wearable, crochet wearable, which is a top, as you can see. And we have been attaching some stuff together. So it's been a bit of a journey, but I'm not going to go into too much detail right now because I have been filming, just FYI, a video of this process. Is going to be a long form content on my YouTube channel once obviously I finish. So basically detailed steps along the way, how the journey's gone. I'll go over why basically I almost kind of just messed things up. I thought I might have, but I actually think it's okay. So this is what we look like. The ribbing going all the way around here, and I actually think it's quite alright. Obviously it's doing the singeing in, which is what I wanted. I was worried it was going to be a little bit balloony depending how it was going to work out, but I actually think it's okay. And of course this is going to fall down a bit, but it's because he's missing sleeves and chest neck area. So I think I can carry on. So I just wanted to kind of mid-check in, attaching together. So obviously the ribbings at the bottom and the top part to the ribbing there. So now I've got to attach the sleeves to the sides, one on each side, and then from there carry on up to the point where I basically feel like I'm gonna stop, and I'm happy with it. Of course, keeping in mind that I will be adding some ribbing edging to the neckline and the sleeves and the bottom. That's the plan anyway. So I think it's pretty good, pretty happy with it. Feels pretty nice. I like the way it's coming along, the way it's looking now that I've got pieces attached together. So I might just come back and do an update once I've attached the sleeves as well, just to kind of, I guess, check in. Guys, we are starting to see a top come together. I feel these sleeves are actually attached only barely, but they are, and I've gotten to the stage where I just need to keep crocheting rows including the sleeves and basically make this taller to get up to the shoulders at some point, and then I'll keep trying it on once I kind of get further up, and just when I get to a point where I'm happy with it, I'll stop. And then obviously bear in mind that I want to do the ribbing and that as well. So I'm pretty happy with this so far. It feels comfortable, it feels wearable, movable, so I think we're making good progress, and I really feel like I can see an end coming and a final top that I actually feel like, I know it's not done yet, but I feel like I would wear this, which obviously is the whole bloody point of it. Right, so update number whatever. Kind of lost track. I'm currently visiting family in Denmark, so in a different country, and I brought my project here because I did think I was going to finish it before I went, but I didn't, because it's also been a little while because I ended up almost getting to this point, attaching the sleeves and making a few more rows, and I just felt like it wasn't quite sitting right. It was kind of gappy up here and stuff, and it was too much fabric. So I ended up deciding to undo a whole bunch of work. So basically detach the sleeves again, and I also ended up undoing down till about here, I think. So quite a bit of the upper part that I'd already done, which by the way took forever because I do finish off my ends quite nicely, I will say. Which is a bitch if you want to undo it. Anyway, so yeah, obviously undid that and then restarted, because what I then did was decrease along the way. Originally I just felt I needed to decrease up here, but I felt like it would kind of make it a bit of a funny shape, so I wasn't quite sure about just doing it here. It would just make it bunch up, I think. So I ended up going further down and starting to gradually decrease, not increase, and it has made it a little tighter around the boobs. So this is the point where I'm at. I'm not 100% sure if I like it, or if it's giving my boobs a bit of a weird shape or not. I'm not sure, but I also feel like I don't want to keep on doing it. I want to finish this top, but I also want it to be nice and be happy with it. So yeah, obviously I redid everything, then reattached the sleeves. I've then not finished the ends off yet, because just in case. But basically what I would do would be about so much more or so, and then obviously I had the edging I want to add as well, and it's going to end up being like a, I think, a boat neckline, so fairly wide compared to, like, say this for instance, and that's where I'm at. So obviously that whole process, undoing and then redoing this all that I'd already done, took a while, and I don't know, it's definitely helped getting rid of that, all that excess fabric that was here, not bunching up in the same way. And also when wearing it and stuff, I also think, and washing it is obviously going to maybe stretch a little bit, so maybe it will be fine. I don't know. I also kind of want to just keep going and see, because the sleeves are also dropping down a bit compared to where I'm hoping they're going to sit, but that's because obviously there's nothing keeping them up on the outside yet. So maybe a little bit more something like that, because otherwise they are getting a bit long as well. But I'm going to then keep decreasing a bit as well up here, because obviously my shoulders kind of go in a bit, and I don't want this to get all gappy and too much excess fabric. So, and I'm going to keep like trying it on every few rows, or almost every row maybe, just to make sure as I'm going, so I don't have to undo too much. That is the plan. So yeah, this is where I'm at. And the back, it was also gapping a little bit there, but not as much. So obviously the boobs are bigger than the back. I feel like I'm really close, but I already said that before, and then I did a whole bunch. So update number something of making my first crochet wearable, which is this top. It is technically a wearable top now. Obviously it's not fully finished, so it's been a bit of a journey, because this has been with me to Denmark. I visited family for Christmas for a couple of weeks. I thought I would have finished it before, didn't. Brought it with me, didn't finish it there. Obviously there's been a lot of basically undoing, redoing, undoing, redoing, so that kind of explains why it's dragged on more than I thought it was gonna. But anyway, I'm at a point where I feel like I'm happy enough. So basically this whole piece, I'd gotten to the point where I attached the sleeves and gone a bit past, but I wasn't happy because especially right here, it was very excess fabric-y, and I felt like it just wasn't right. So basically I undid all that, detached the sleeves, and then undid all my work pretty much to just a couple of rows before where the ribbing is down here, so the waistband. So a lot. And then obviously, well, undoing that took forever because I finished off all the ends quite well, so there was all that, but then redoing it, and then obviously reattaching the sleeves, and then now I've gotten to this point, and I'm kind of liking where it sits. So I ended up decreasing further down. I began the decreasing and then did it as I went up, and I'm still not 100% because I feel like right here there's a little bit of a funny shape, but I am also happy enough with it that I'm not going to undo the whole thing again, because again, also maybe wearing it, it'll change a little bit and stuff, so who knows. I'm happy enough. I feel like it's better than having all that loose fabric, which was like right here where your arms are attached to your body, and I feel like it's not bad enough to not be happy with it. So this is what it looks like. And I also then start decreasing up here on the sleeves, so where we start with the shoulders, because obviously that's going to kind of start to go in, and I didn't want that to be too saggy either, so I feel like it's just fitting nicely just in over the shoulders, just like I want it, so the sleeves don't basically fall down as I'm wearing it. I want it to be comfortable and sit how I want it to sit. So I think I'm gonna stop here with the height, because what I then need to do is also add that ribbing, which I want to do that scalloped ribbing that she did in the tutorial, which is very beautiful. And obviously that's going to add a bit more height, and I can already tell if I add too much more here, it's going to annoy me on my neck. So I want to make sure that's not going to be an issue either. So I'm going to add the ribbing now. I think it's going to be the next thing up here, and it's going to just hopefully cover up the bra straps. And then I just need to 100% find out what I'm doing, if I'm adding edging to the sleeves or not, because I've been thinking all along I wanted to do that, but I'm not 100% sure. Part of me feels like it doesn't need it. One, I don't really need it for the length. I quite like the length that they have. And also, I don't know if it really needs it look-wise. And honestly, kind of same principle for the bottom edge. I'm undecided. That's where we're at. I'm like, I feel this close. And now I can go back and finish all the ends that I undid and then redid and blah, blah, blah. So, we are like almost there. So guys, we are so freaking close to being done with this. I will say I've had it sitting around for a little bit because I finished off the edging here in the neckline, which I'm really happy with. So glad how that worked out. But I've not really known what to do with the sleeves and the bottom edging. The whole time I've had a plan to add some kind of edging. I've just not been sure of what, so I was going to kind of just wait and see what happened as I went. And I've very much been, I don't know, and I don't even know now if I want edging, because I also felt like, what if the sleeves are already long enough? But now that the top is like finished basically up here, so the sleeves are fastened in, you could say, and they're not falling down, so they are the length that they're going to be. And I do feel like it's good. I like them. But I also think a little bit length would be fine, especially if I'm like moving, if I'm just holding up my hand like that. There I kind of feel like just a little bit more length, I wouldn't mind. So I think I'm going to go ahead with edging. And then there's a question of what. But I think I've just decided, because I was unsure about doing ribbing because I didn't want it to kind of singe in on the wrist or the bottom, because I didn't want it to get like a balloon type shape or anything. I like the way it's sitting now, so I didn't want to mess with the shape of anything. But what I was thinking is basically do the same edging, because I've been unsure about doing like a different style of edging and it not really fitting the top. But I'm thinking basically do the same ribbing, but just making sure it stays the size that it is what I'm thinking, which I should be able to do. Because this basically, I purposely made it smaller, you could say, so it would like sit nicely across the shoulder, kind of flat down instead of sticking up. So maybe if I just make sure as I go, I'm making it so it doesn't kind of singe in and get smaller and tighter around the wrist, then I'd like to think I should be able to keep the size and shape that it is now, and on the bottom as well. So I think that is the plan. So otherwise, yeah, the ribbing on the top here, I quite like how that's sitting all the way around, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I do feel like it could have been a little bit further out, but at the same time I'm also wary of, say, the bra strap showing too much. Not that it's an issue or anything, just if I could help it I wanted to try and avoid that. But I think it's pretty good, and it's also not too close to my neck because I kind of hate that feeling. It's just borderlining, but it's okay. I think I can live with it. So I just need to now finish off all the ends because I'm not undoing this. I'm happy with it. It's good. And then I've just got to do the edging on the sleeves and the bottom, and then we're done. I'm like this close, and I just want to be done, and I just want to start something new. So here it is. I am pretty happy with how it turned out. Do a little twirl. Obviously you can actually see it quite well where I did kind of the decreases and ended up getting the pattern kind of merging together, the stitch pattern, and also there on the back. And there is one or two things that I would change. So when I did the decreases here, I think I did do them a little bit either too soon. Probably too soon is the right conclusion. So maybe just have started a little bit further up after I'd already done it, undone it, redone it, blah blah blah. So maybe just change that a little bit because I feel like the fit around the boobs is just a little bit off, but it's good enough. I think that's really the main / only thing. Now I did, as I was going, think about having the neckline a little bit further out, so a little bit more open. And I do think it is more open than pretty much anything I have. But the reason that I ended up kind of getting a little bit further in was because I wanted to try and make sure that it was going to cover the bra straps. And obviously they don't sit all the way out on the outer point of your shoulder. So I ended up with this, and honestly I'm quite happy, and I'm really happy with that I kind of decreased over the shoulder there. So I did the ribbing all the way around the neckline, but when I went from the front of the shoulder across to the back, I kind of went through an extra stitch before I then went back up. So I think that worked out really well. So it's not sitting kind of flapping up or anything, having excess fabric. So I'm pretty happy with that. I really like the stitch pattern. I'm already using it for a different design. It's a bag, so you'll probably see that in the near future. I'm quite happy with it, and obviously I love the colour, purple. So all this time it is finally finished off all the ends. Everything's done. I haven't actually worn or washed it yet or anything. I guess just wait and see how it wears, if it changes a bit over time with wear and washing, but I can't see that being too much, so I definitely see myself wearing this, which is a good thing because I spent a lot of time on it. So yeah, I guess that's it for updates for the top here. My first crochet wearable. Now I will say I was thinking about doing like a video about how much yarn-ish I've used, and also maybe a video on the cost of making it. So if that works out, I'm going to probably be doing that next as well. Just a couple little, I guess, fun videos about that, because I've been working on this top for a long time. Anyway, we'll see. So yeah, I hope you like it too. And if you followed along the journey, that you enjoyed that. And now I just gotta decide what I'm gonna do next. Hello guys, so since I fully finished the top and I did all the updates now, I thought it was time to just look at how much yarn I used and what it cost. To start out with, let's figure out how much yarn. Now there's two ways of this. So I did weigh the top before I put it on. Obviously I'm not going to be almost naked on the camera. And the weight of it is 1.746 kilos. And then along the way I saved all the labels. Then let's just count these, shall we? 35, 36. So actually let me just have a look at a scale and see how much is in one. 50 grams. We can always use that as a check to see and compare with the weight of the complete top, just for no reason, because then I can work out how many balls, obviously, which I just counted, and then multiply that to work out the total length, which is completely useless information, I guess, but well, not completely. I guess the amount of skeins I used and the length I used, it could be used in knowing for the future kind of how much yarn I would need for maybe a similar-ish project. Anyway, let's do one thing at a time. Now I also have my advanced calculator from school, because the normal calculator is you. You're currently using it. Yeah, let's see if the weight matches. So it is 1.746 kilos, and then divide that by 50 grams and see if the number fits with the amount of balls I have counted from the labels. And that was 36. Now, will it fit? Almost. 34.92. So let's round it up to 35. So that actually adds up all right. So I used, let's just say, 36 balls of yarn. So with that user's information, let's figure out the cost. So obviously I know how many balls I used, and then we look at the cost on the website. So you have different prices, because there's a price for just if you're getting one ball, but they have a discount for quantity. So if you say buy 20 balls at a time, you get the price for less. So that's what I'm gonna go for, the lesser price of buying 20 plus at a time, because that is what we did originally. Bought at least 20. I think I did it in 2 batches or so, but still same principle. And that price is £2 7p. So that means £2 and 7p times 36. We have £74 and 52 pence. That is actually more than I thought it was going to be. Turns out making your own clothes with yarn costs a bit. Don't get me wrong, it's a really good price for that yarn. The only thing is it's quite small balls, so just 50 grams each, so they don't go that far per ball, but obviously it adds up and it's more than I actually expected. Ayo, it's done now. I do have a bit spare for another project I'm hoping to be not the next one, but probably the one after that. I'm really excited to do as well. Anyway, that is this update, I guess, final update for this top now. I'm wearing it and I have an appointment later today, and I'll just keep it on for that. First time wearing it out, and I like it. It's comfortable and I'm very happy with it. And now I can finally get rid of all these labels that I've been saving for getting close to a year now. So I'm just about to tidy up and bin all these labels from all the skeins of yarn I used for this top, because I'm done with it, so I don't need to save it anymore. But I've been saving these labels every time I finished a ball religiously for like almost a year, so this kind of feels wrong. It feels like I'm doing something wrong. I shouldn't bin it because, oh, I need them, but I don't anymore. So I actually finished it. But yeah, I guess we're just going to put them in the bin. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. This feels weird. Bye bye.